Good afternoon, everyone. This is the meeting of the Board of Sewer Commissioners, September 14th, 2023, in the Walkpoint Meeting Room here in Mashpee. And we'll start our meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Okay, and as we are accustomed to have a moment of silence, there's a lot of stuff going on with bad weather issues around the country, so perhaps a moment of silence for people who are trying to recoup their lives. Okay, thank you. Are there any comments from anyone in the audience? No? Okay. If everyone has had a chance to take a look at the minutes from our meeting from August 24th, are there any comments, questions?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of the meeting of August 24th.
Second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so now we can accept the minutes from August 24th. And the next item, the first item on our agenda is the website review and update. And we've been working with Karen Leslie and with Evan Lair from the Planning Department, who have been working with us in trying to make the website as user-friendly as possible so that we'll be able to then roll out public meetings so that people can understand how to use the website. And we're running into some details that we needed to get more information on. And so we're working on that. And with people being out of town or ill or other kinds of family issues, we haven't been able to do a lot more on it. But when Catherine and I met with Karen and Evan a couple of weeks ago, last week?
Even last
Yeah,
week, yeah.
we were able to really see how far they're going with it and work out the questions that we also had with it to make the information accurate, and two, to make it friendly enough so that we can get these information sessions rolled out as soon as possible. But we're still, is it under construction?
Yeah.
Is where we are. Are there any questions about that or any thoughts about it? Good.
Are these going to be in-person info sessions, like at the library, or what is the plan?
Well, what we had thought of, the first thing is, let's get the website so that it is usable. And it was putting ourselves and in the position of a resident, and we're finding how difficult it is to navigate the system. So it's being re-edited so that it becomes user-friendly. And then we had talked about there being sessions in the for the public, either at the library. Mashpee TV offered a space for us. Mackenzie had also offered us some opportunities for publicizing the use of it in the Mashpee Enterprise. So there'd be several different kinds of information sessions. So our goal would be that by mid to late October, we could start rolling these out.
Yeah.
So it's quite ambitious, but we've got enough to get started with so that people know how to navigate it. The latest was, and it's very exciting and promising, was to try to figure out how to navigate the GIS maps with the street names so people to say, if my street is here, where am I in terms of the sewer schedule? And so there are those kinds of issues that we're trying to work out, and we've got to go through clearance with IT, and we've also got to work with the engineers in figuring out who would be most appropriate for that information and how to get it and how to keep it updated. So we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But that's what we're working toward. Do you have any other questions
No,
about it?
I just wanted, when the info sessions happen, I'm happy to help in any way, like get the, because I know that there's a bunch of realtors who have questions about, when you talk about the GIS maps, that's something that we use all the time, so that's something maybe we can kind of talk about.
That would be terrific. And perhaps when we get ready to do that info session, you'd be one of the people leading the conversation.
Happy to.
That would be wonderful. Thank you for volunteering for that. Catherine, do you want to add anything more? And I must give an applaud, I must applaud Catherine for the work that she's been doing and for taking the bull by the horn and working this through.
I would just add that when I was going through it I've gone through it many times, but just the last time as we were getting ready to meet with Karen and Evan, it occurred to me that commissioners and town staff are users too. And other people that use the website all the time are users too. And the sewer commission information, and they've become accustomed to mapping to the information they're looking for. The mapping's going to change. And so, I'm talking about navigating the system. And you're going to have to all learn to navigate it a little bit differently. But it occurred to me and Karen that there was a way that we could make some things more quickly available to those of us that are looking for things quickly. So I'm hoping that that gives us enough menu options to roll it out comfortably for all the potential users.
Do you feel pleased with the progress that's been made so far? Because you've
Yeah.
gone through the frequently asked questions, those have been revised to some
Yeah,
extent, so
they're
that
okay.
they're not just a whole number of pages of frequently asked questions, but instead are pertinent to specific pieces of information.
Yeah, so you would ask a particular type of question, and it might be related to the financial things. So you would ask that question, and then a number of the answers to typical financial-related questions will come up on the page, and you won't have to scroll through all the stuff associated with the schedule, or just the general history stuff, or why are we doing this kind of thing.
So it's a filter.
Yeah, it's sort of a filter, and so instead of, clicking 5 or 6 times to find something, hopefully it's more direct for the resident anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I went on recently and I noticed that it's fewer clicks
Well,
to get
you
where you need to go.
you won't see this.
The new one, we haven't
Right,
posted it
but
yet.
we're
even in
being
the
worked in-
iteration from how it was a
Well,
few
how
months
it was
ago,
in
it's
June.
much easier
Yeah.
to use.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
but this will be a new navigation, so I think if we get used to it, it'll work, so we're
And-
anxious to finalize it, so.
And once we get ready to roll it out, of course, it'll be rolled out to you first, so that you'll become comfortable with it, so that we'll all, at different points in time, be participating in the info sessions.
Yeah, and the reason I want to present it first before we ever, agree to roll it out is because I want input
Find the
from,
bugs.
yeah. We are users, but, other users have their way of approaching it. So if we can figure out a quick fix to something that other commissioners or members of the public that attend see, maybe we can take care of that before we roll it out. I'm sure, I'm absolutely positive that once the rollout comes, we'll have new questions. But we're trying to leave room for that to be easily added, so, right?
Yes, that's terrific. Please use your microphones when you do speak, though. We need, because we're now 2 rooms over from the controllers, but thank you.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, may we ask Sandy Tripp from GHD to do a review of construction updates for us, please?
Sure thing. I think that microphone's working, yes? Okay. This is, I'll call it the off week in that I do a formal presentation giving you an update on budget and so forth at the next meeting. But I will tell you that starting with the collection system, that the work is ongoing very well. They're probably going to be done with piping this fall, so that's good. They're in Summerwood right now. They've completed the gravity sewers, are working on the laterals. They're completing they did complete the sewer main on Asher's Path, and they're working on the force main now, working toward the plant on Carlton. So contract 2, which is the northern contract, is in great shape. On the southern contract, contract 3, they're going to be at Quiniquisette. in the next 3 weeks working on Force Main and a gravity sewer, and then Orchard Road would be probably the last piece in the late fall.
Okay.
Okay. Paving, they are gearing up to do Route 28, so that is something to be aware of. Talking with the paver right now and getting that scheduled. I don't know exactly when. They're down in the Ships area, the Ships Lantern, that area, doing their paving in there. And then they'll be moving on to Simon Narrows and Mashpee Neck Road. The pump stations are underway. They have Mason. If you've been at the Mashpee Neck pump station site, you'll see some block going up. And they're going to move to the Falmouth Road pump station site probably next week. So they got some structures going in, and that's per plan and schedule. Out at the plant, concrete work is starting to wind down. So they've actually got the two buildings, the concrete work, meaning the basements of the process building, and now they're working on the first floor, which is a deck which is in with some rebar in it, and they'll start placing that concrete in that deck next week. They're in the preliminary building, the one-floor building, and they've basically done with the slabs and the channels in that building. That was pretty complicated, took a lot of forming. And the masons will probably move into the preliminary treatment building next week. UV channels in the process building are in place. They've finished up the effluent distribution box. So when it comes out of the treatment, it goes to a box and gets distributed to the sand beds. And the secondary distribution box, when it comes out of preliminary treatment, it gets distributed to the process tanks. That one is complete. The secondary is opened up, so they've started working on that structure. Odor control, they've got the foundation down for that. And really, we think that the major concrete work will be completed within a month. So, doing well.
That's wonderful.
I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
First, in the website development, there's a couple of holes that we have. One of them is we want to make sure we get regular monthly, at least monthly, updates to the roadwork schedule, and a map of potential detours as necessary. Sounds like it would be potential disruption coming up soon. And we want to keep the website up to date on that. So as soon as we can get those, they can actually be posted either to the current website, but especially to the, we have a place for that, and especially to the new website content. So that's pretty important because we know that people pay attention to that. The other thing that's been, and you may recall this, we've been curious about the RB Hour letter to residents that went out, I think late last year or early this year. We wanted to get a sampled version of that. It would be, all PPI would be removed, personal property information, but we wanted to get a sample of that posted, and any other communications that go to residents, we want to have visible on the website in that type of format.
Okay.
So we have placeholders for that on both the existing and proposed and new layout. Those are recurring themes and recurring needs, and we would like to see if there's something that we can do to help facilitate that. We know it's under the subcontractor's purview, but we're trying to figure out how to get that.
Most of this stuff is coming from RB Hour and Environmental Partners.
Yeah.
So I think that what I would like to do is talk with Mike Scipione, the OPM, so that we have a center place to send things, whether it's coming from us or EPG.
That would be
And then you can reach
wonderful.
out to them.
Karen Leslie is perfect, but she'll be able to post this stuff. We want to make sure it's in the format that's usable for the screen, for computer monitors.
Okay.
So any mapping and everything like that that should be submitted should be in a layout that facilitates user use. I think you just keep that in mind. Sometimes that's different from document production.
Right.
So,
Excuse me, Catherine, one of the things that Sandy and I spoke about was that she'll facilitate the movement of the information, but she doesn't always have it right
I know,
at hand.
I
Yeah,
understand that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm just trying to
Yeah,
reinforce that
and once
need.
they give us the reports, then we'll be able to channel it to Karen, and then be able to figure out the format.
Perfect.
But we'll be getting the information, they won't be responsible for the
Oh, I know
formatting.
that. Yeah, it's
okay,
just,
Okay,
I understand how hard it is. And it's time consuming.
It's just
But it is important.
making sure we're talking to each other. That's
It's
what it is.
Yeah.
just so important, I think, for the residents. It adds value to the website and
Sure
will
does.
encourage them to keep going back to it. On the final, could you, pretty please, give me a quick overview of what the preparation is for the storm this weekend and the work sites?
Oh, contractors, when a storm's coming, they're gonna button up their place just like you would at home. So anything that can blow away is gonna be tied down, tools, equipment that's gonna be secured within their trailers. That's basically it. They're gonna, I don't know this for a
I
fact.
was there this morning.
but-
And I was there this morning, and that's exactly what they were doing.
Excellent,
But
okay.
luckily, most of the stuff there is so heavy.
So heavy, it's
If
not
Yeah,
going
you're not
anywhere.
Starts to move that rebar, we're in big trouble.
You're not worried about blowing away a steel truss.
If
Yeah.
anything, it will collect trash from the transfer station. But
They
Maybe.
are.
yeah,
And
they are buttoning down.
But
They
tools
won't be
and-
pouring anything.
And out in the neighborhoods too, right?
Right.
And we're checking.
On the linear work too,
clearing.
they're going to be, well, one, they want to get their pavement done so that they're not, they don't leave something
Yeah.
less
check-
than they would leave it any other
And
week.
watching storm drains.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, before the meeting, Chad had asked that we table the review of the intermunicipal agreements. We still don't know which ones are finalized and which ones are not finalized. We still haven't gotten that information. So I'll send a note to the select board and find out where we are with that, but I haven't heard anything more about it yet. I've heard rumors that there are some IMAs that are in place, but if we go back and look at our historical documents, it also says years ago, there were IMAs in place, but they're not the ones that we need for our work now. So we'll figure this out and come back at a different meeting to say which ones are finalized. So much of this is going to be important if and when a watershed permit is going to be considered or not considered. But I think to know that there's some conversation going on with our neighboring towns would be very helpful at this point in time. And we're kind of in the dark about that. There was also a request from Chad to table number 4 on the agenda, which is the state local sources of funding available. Again, we need to be in touch with our state representative and state senator. And although they're very forthcoming and they're very interested in helping us in sorting out funding and finding out where it is, but we haven't gotten all the information that we need yet, but they are working on it. But we don't have any information on it at this point. So this is going to be a quick meeting as we keep going through agenda items and say, well, we don't have all the information on this one yet. So the other thing, we had asked about doing drone footage of the construction site. And in order to do that, we need a drone. And the drone that was available through Mashpee TV is still in for repair. So we're still waiting for that to happen. I don't know if any of you saw the new cars and the new things that are rolling out from the auto show that's in Detroit, but there is a drone car. I put my request in for it, for GHD to have it, so that you can, so that you can fly over the sites at will and be able to then give us individual reports with a mic from the site, from your drone car.
That'd be fun.
Did they
Sandy
say how
Tripp
much it costs?
communicating.
No,